Today, India is celebrating its 75th Independence Day. So, on this eve, we have got the Einstein of the 21st century, Professor Suborno Isaac Bari. He is also known as the god of mathematics. And joining him is a representative from the global think tank, Professor Zulfi Ali. I welcome you to this forum today.
Hello, yes.
The first question that I wanted to ask to Suborno is, in 21st century, when the whole world is trying to find out what is the right kind of education, so which is the right kind of education according to Suborno? Is it the formal education or is it the self-education?
Yeah, the thing is, education is really a big problem, especially here in the United States. So the thing is, people always do the Piaget mindset. They think, hey, why should we make the child grow up why should we make the child grow up loving math, learning in this way, that way, this beautiful way? Because he'll just learn this when he gets older. The thing is, it's not a good thing to have that mindset, to think, hey, just wait for it. He'll get old, he'll learn everything. It's not a good thing, because that doesn't allow people to, get engaged in math when they're young. And then when they're old, there's an extremely high chance that they'll think, hey, math is weird, boring, and I want to do something else. And that's the thing. That's not what schools are built for. Schools are built to educate people, build the next Newton and next Einstein, not build math haters. So
yeah,
I think that people should change the way that they think, thinking that people learn in stages. You have this baby stage, you have this stage, that stage. People will learn eventually. No, that's not a good way to think. That's not a good mindset. Instead, I think of I cater to the Vygotsky way of learning, cater to Vygotsky's philosophy, because Vygotsky thinks that there's no stages, there's no kind of thing that restricts you from learning something in some age like that. Vygotsky says that you have the zone of proximal development, where you're comfortable to do things, not only in math or science, but in, I don't know, art, geography, like that. There's this ZPD, the zone of proximal development, and I believe in teaching that is hands-on, not some boring things on a blackboard. And I see problems nowadays that people are saying that their teachers don't fully understand the problem to themselves, to give students a hands-on understanding. We need teachers that understand the concepts instead of memorizing the equations. We need teachers with good teaching skill and a good way to visualize the problem instead of teachers who have good memory. That's what we need.
Yeah. So, Professor Zulfi, I would like to bring you here. What is your perspective on education today?
I think it's got a very strong point, actually, what he's stating. Soborno is very interesting what he says, that because when we look at the two very big stalwarts of education, like if I may state their names as Paula Freire and John Dewey. I mean, these are the two people who are talking about education as a learning experience, and the experience itself is education. And the classroom is not within those like an institution or a building that where you house a school and a teacher and a monologue kind of thing, where it's a one-sided kind of a dictation from one side. The whole universe itself is a learning space. That's why we find people like Aurobindo, people like Rabindranath Tagore were totally not in favor of that Western school of education, which was very kind of imposing, and it was only one type of thing where you have to go through a rigorous process to be able to finally be able to kind of bring some kind of output in the fields of science, literature, and other kind of subjects. And I think we need to kind of provoke the minds. Learning is a process which the world has to recreate, reconstruct, reawaken, re-understand, and re-introspect. I think a lot of these kind of things are needed right now to go into the next phase, to be able to create thinkers, creative people, people who can contribute, people who can question things, people who can dismantle institutions. I think Soborno is one of the very good examples where he kind of dismantles the entire what you call that that institutionalized, conventional, monolithic kind of entities. And he brings in a refreshing kind of sense of understanding of science and technology, which is so needed in all the schools and colleges and educations. That's what I think.
Yeah, well said, well said. But one more thing I have observed here is if a person wants to become Professor Suborno Isaac Bari, there is only one way, that is self-education. I don't think so formal education can produce a giant like Suborno Isaac Bari. What do you think, Suborno?
Well, the thing is, education goes by age. Most people, unless allowed by this higher body, NYDOE, usually go by stages of Piaget, but except they chop it up into more stages. It's basically just Piaget 2.0, the schooling system. You're at this age, you should go into this grade, things like that. The thing is, most students never get a chance to unravel their new passion, what they're good at, because they're all taught at the same level for all things. They're not allowed to, go to a higher level. They're not allowed to see what lies ahead. They're only allowed to get the content of their age, supposedly, because people don't develop due to age. They develop due to a good teacher. And well, the thing is, the DOE isn't hiring good teachers exactly, but the DOE is hiring teachers that are good at memorizing equation settings. So the thing is, we need teachers that actually know what they're doing and being a significant other. We need a more knowledgeable other, and that other has to be significant, not somebody who just regurgitates equations from the internet. So that's where Vygotsky comes in and rewrites the game. And yes, just like he said, the thing is the education system, I think, really needs to be dismantled and rebuilt, because the education system isn't that good in America for me, and probably since you're discussing the issue in India too. I think that anybody can follow my steps as long as they have a teacher that is good, and you don't have formal education, and you don't really listen to formal education that just gives you contents of your age. Because reminder that I went to India while I was still being schooled in 3rd grade. Yes, the teacher was supportive, but I wasn't given the ability to skip grades until now. I had to learn the content that wasn't of my age. So that's the thing.
Yeah. So one more thing I would just wanted to ask you, that do you think there should be exams for teachers also? Like we have exams for students. Why can't we have exams for teachers also to check their progress?
Well, that's true. I think there should be like an exam for teachers before they actually start teaching, because exams for teachers would make sure that teachers don't just have the ability to regurgitate equations. They actually have the ability to understand the equation, to explain not only why, but the how to the students. They just say why, because this and that, this variable, that area, things like that. They never explain how it works. And I want people who explain how it works, because even on the internet, online resources seem like a haven, but even on the internet, there aren't many good teachers. And because these people just say the why, they say the equations, they say the why, they don't say the how. So I think that there should be like a prerequisite exam for teachers to check if they know what they're doing, to check if they know the how and not only the why. Yes, we should have a prerequisite exam so teachers know what they're doing.
Yeah, what about this, according to Dr. Zulfi?
Okay, well, I think that we definitely need to relook into the education system, because education is not about just getting grades and scoring some marks and coming first in the class. it is to provoke your internal talent. Actually, there's every person is a genius. See, there is no way of stating that somebody is not good. See, that itself shows that there's some problem with education, because every human being is one of the greatest creations of this universe. Actually, it's one of the greatest creations. But you need to be able to bring out that intelligence of that person, actually, and you don't have to teach him anything. You need to bring out what is already in there, embedded within that system, and that is not there. Actually, what happens is that we create mediocrities because of the fact that we don't allow that genius of the individual to actually manifest itself right from childhood. It's very important to understand that the spark of genius in every individual, and everything has to be customized. You cannot have one kind of a rule to be able to put everybody into that section. We are a diverse lot. There are different people that has understanding of different things at different times, and they understand things differently. So it has to be customized and made it into context to their understanding. You see, that is what is required right now. It's not an easy game, actually.
Yeah, well said, Professor Zulfi.